They met in grad school and became really good friends. They bonded over Twilight and The Bachelor, and then they moved across the country 1,000 miles apart. And thanks to quarantine, they decided to start Jordan and Rebecca Review Things. You didn't ask our opinion, but we're gonna give it anyway. Hello and welcome to Jordan and Rebecca Review Things. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Rebecca. This is a podcast where we read, watch, and enjoy various pop culture phenomena and bring you our unsolicited hot takes. This week, we are continuing the Kissing Booth conversation with
The
Kissing
Booth
2, which premiered July 24th. We did watch it on premiere day, but this is coming out a little late.
Yeah, because we got jobs and things like that.
We have a life. Yeah.
So, anyways, we're welcoming back our special guest Irene to talk all things teen drama again. Welcome, Irene.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me back. I'm very excited to be talking about this wonderful movie. I can't believe it's been so long since we watched this initially. It was
I know.
Premiere date and a few margaritas deep.
I know. It's gonna be funny to revisit because I think a lot of our note takings were a couple margaritas deep, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why I enjoyed it so much too, though. I mean, I remember the Kissing Booth too being like even better than the first one. So, you know, it'll be exciting. Right. Have we said like spoiler alert at this point?
Hey, Irene, why don't you do the spoiler alert?
Hang on. Guys, spoiler alert.
Are you...
I'm sorry, I just wanted to have the clip.
I really want to hear like, burr, 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 like whatever that warning sound. Oh my gosh, that's just what I hear when you say that, Irene.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Netflix summary is, with college decisions looming, Elle juggles her long-distance romance with Noah, changing relationship with bestie Lee, and feelings for a new classmate. We did a double feature when we watched this all together, and we interviewed Irene just a little bit, and we asked for her to predict Kissing Booth 2. Irene, would you like to provide us some of those predictions you had made?
Yeah, I feel like I need to read verbatim because I feel like I hit the nail on the head with this one.
Go for it.
I said that clearly, Elle, clearly she's going to have sex with this one dude who isn't her boyfriend because he's seducing her with his weird foreign ways. But then she's going to be like, weird. Oh, no, I want a straight, white, crusty, rich American man instead. And he's going to turn out to be sort of like cheating on her, but then he'll find out, or she'll find out that he wasn't really cheating on her, and it's going to be fine, and they'll have a happy ending right before their wedding in the Hamptons.
Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head with that.
I mean, it wasn't...
There wasn't a Hamptons wedding yet.
No.
We also, when we were in between the movies during our double feature, collected some of Jordan's predictions and like things she wishes happen.
You were in a very optimistic frame of mind.
Probably won't happen. You were
optimistic. You were reluctant to even predict anything. You just wanted to like tell us what you wanted to happen in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm very team Lee, and I really want Elle and Lee to be together, but I know that that's like probably not going to happen. So I said that I wish that Lee realized that he's in love with Elle and that they end up together because he's healthier for her than Noah, but Noah's hotter. Although Lee did bulk up for this movie.
He did bulk up for this one. So that's very true.
You know, at this point it's kind of like, well, if you went with Lee, it'd still be fine.
All right. So shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
We open up with the summer love-in montage of Elle and Noah just having sex in any area they can.
And then he goes off to college, and she decides that she doesn't want to be a clingy girlfriend, so she stops talking
Oh
to
my
him.
god. She's not telling him how she feels. She's like, I missed him, but I didn't want him to feel bad or like, you know, whatever. So she's like not telling him that she misses him, not talking to him really, just sort of, it seems a little like she's ghosting him. But she's saying that she's trying not to be clingy.
And then he calls her at school under the guise of being her father.
And all of a sudden they're like, excuse me, Elle, your father is on the line. Why? And she's like, why did you do this? And he said, because you're not texting me back.
Surely there are better, less possessive ways of contacting her.
It's pretty typical of Noah, I would say.
Well, yeah, it's very in character.
That's true. If I were in his place, I would be like, hey, Lee, have you seen Elle? Is she doing okay? Also, Lee comes to pick her up for school like he always has, gifts her an even shorter skirt, and then detours to pick up his girlfriend, and Elle makes her sit in the back. That is not car etiquette.
It's not. It's actually the opposite.
Indeed.
Rachel definitely has cause to be pretty cheesed off.
Yeah, Rachel.
Yes, she does.
Ooh, poor Rachel. Turns out there's a new guy at the school. Ella's heard rumors that he's a hottie. And she accidentally, this is such a cliche teen movie, accidentally sits on the button for the intercom in the school and then starts talking about how cute he is. And it gets broadcast to the entire school. And there's this whole scene where she's like talking about all these different, she's giving all these descriptors for the attractiveness of Marco, the new student. And like we see shots of all the classrooms.
It's very
like
sexually charged.
It's very, and Lee, God bless him, the best friend that he is, runs across the entire school, like runs out of his classroom across the entire school to try and save her, and doesn't get there for minutes. And it is an impression to make on the new guy.
It was truly a cringy moment in that film.
It was painful.
Right.
Why is the area where the announcements are made, why is it so accessible to the whole student body?
Also, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happens. There's an embarrassing moment between Elle and Marco when he like is behind her and like acknowledges the ridiculousness that just happened. And then she goes home and talks with Noah.
She goes to Noah's house, and
she does.
Mom's like,
I forget everything.
Molly Ringwald is like, "Oh, there's a package for you, Elle. Why couldn't Noah just send it to her house, anyways?" And so inside the package is like a sweatshirt for Harvard and tickets. And so she's like, I'm going to Harvard and I'm going to do some interviews for schools in Boston.
Yeah, well, because she called him to thank him, right? And he's like, I thought maybe you could apply to Harvard. And then immediately, first of all, she has an interview with Harvard, which is not how it works.
Yeah, that's movie magic.
Like, you apply, and then you have to be invited to interview. And so she's excited to go to Harvard, but then she does some Googling to see, like, how much it costs to attend Harvard. And let me tell you guys, I also did the Googling because they don't show the $sign on the screen of the movie. But it is, according to the Google, $75,000 annually to attend Harvard. $75,000.
Is that per year?
That's just 1 year. I think that's out of state.
Yeah, that's a pretty penny, guys.
It's a lot of money.
That is a pretty penny unless you are a DDM champion. At which point, Harvard is achievable.
Well, let's talk about this because DDM, Dance Dance Mania, is the game that Lee and Elle are so into, and they're the top scorers. Elle finds a flyer that says that there's a DDM Ultimate Showdown and the cash prize
Ultimate
is $50,000.
Which, honestly, if she could compete in, like, 8 of those competitions and win all 8 of them, she would have her tuition covered. Also, let's talk about how this cash prize of $50,000 is going to be taxed. So she's not even getting $50,000. Right. Also, she just assumed that Lee would give her his half.
Right.
Or she was blindly excited about $25,000, which is a nice chunk of change, but it's not going to cover anything. Like, in the long run, it is not going to help.
No, there's no concept of money in this film.
And Lee stands up his girlfriend to practice with Elle. That's a whole thing.
Yep.
Rachel's and then
pissed.
Poor Rachel. She was gonna break up with him, just then.
Right.
And he was like, "What do I, no, don't break up with me." And she's like, "You need to tell Ella back off." And he's like, "Okay," and then never does.
That honestly, though, it seemed like the most realistic reaction.
Yeah.
Of the movie, because I feel like teenagers are like just kind of little bitches. Like, they're just trying to navigate all of these really complicated and stressful emotional situations, and a lot of the time they don't do it very well. And so that seemed like
that's true.
A plausible scenario that he would value his friendship with Elle, and he would want to spare her feelings rather than create more conflict.
So we've got that dilemma happening, and then we go straight to Boston.
Where
Noah is waiting.
Weather.
Yeah, Noah is waiting for Elle in the airport and has a sign. And this scene, he has a sign that says Elle Evans, and then she runs towards him, and he throws the sign behind him, and it hits an extra in the face. And this extra just has to keep walking. Like, it's no big deal. I watched it over like 5 times.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny to me. But then we have our like 50s style music montage. They're together.
It was pretty cute.
Because despite
take pictures at Fenway Park, they like
despite the estrangement,
is that the right place?
They are all good.
Is that Boston?
Once they see each other in person. It's magic again.
Yeah, everything's fine. Well, I get that. Like sometimes you and I hate each other, and then when we see each other in person, we're like, yeah, we're best friends again.
I think that's a bad example. I think also 20 minutes later, we hate each other again.
Well, this Harvard trip, man.
This Harvard trip.
They are exploring Boston, and Noah is a freshman in college, so he's either like 18 or 19. Elle is a senior. She's got to be 17 or 18. They're somehow able to access alcohol in public spaces.
Yeah, they're at restaurants
and it's
ordering
no
like
big
wine
deal.
And beer.
I don't know how that's legal at all.
It was very cosmopolitan. I've got to say, I didn't pick up on that during the watching of this movie.
The access to alcohol has not been zero.
Well, yes,
for these
but
teenagers.
It was flagrant in Boston, right? Because
it was pain. Yeah, it wasn't just like a house party where they broke into their parents'
They go to a pub.
Liquor store.
Right.
They're in a pub, and they're getting drunk.
And they're also in that sit-down restaurant. I have a problem with his schooling in general because nothing makes sense.
What the heck is that room that they're in that has
Where
like the fireplace
are
and the
they?
nice couches? Like, is that your dormitory?
Is he a frat bro? I have never been to Harvard, right? So I don't. Irene?
Yes, I have been.
Can you weigh in? Do you have any? Did you ever visit a dorm?
I did visit some dorms.
Did they look anything like that?
No, they looked very crusty. It was not. It was not super appealing. They were like, clean, I guess, and very historic, if that's your thing. But they also looked like not super state of the art.
There wasn't any like amazing wood features, and
there may have been in some of the dorms, but not the one that I saw that Obama freaking went to.
And then we meet Chloe.
Yes. Who is she?
Hot.
She's
yes.
a very hot goddess.
I wondered, I put in here, like, is she a grad student? Because she's very clearly more put together. And I don't know.
Absolutely.
I thought
she's
she
very
seemed more grad school.
She's more sophisticated than the rest of them.
She's articulate. She's worldly. She's she's very qualified. She's much more the type that I would expect to matriculate at Harvard. So
Elle discovers an earring underneath Noah's bed.
Dun dun
that
dun.
Yes, and she has photographic proof that this earring belongs to Chloe because she stalked Chloe's Instagram.
Right.
But she doesn't confront Noah. She holds on to it because, as we all know, bottling up our emotions and pretending things are fine only results in good things later on.
Communication is key, people. Communication is key. So then Elle storms out of Noah's apartment and is just like, I have to go to my plane. And obviously she's upset and he's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
So then we're back home and Elle and Lee are training for the Dance Dance Mania Ultimate Showdown. And Lee hurts his ankle. And he suggests that Marco fills in for him so that Elle can earn that moolah for college.
Well, Lee does some swindling with Marco to get him to do it.
yeah,
Lee's like, she really wants to dance with you. And Marco's like, well, if she really wants to. And then he tells Elle that Marco really wants to dance with Elle. And then they show up and they're both begrudgingly present. And neither of them are excited to see each other. And it's like, there was a little bit of lying going on here.
Well, because Lee has alternate motives because he's trying to keep Elle preoccupied so that he doesn't have to tell her he needs space with his girlfriend.
right.
Yeah. Elle becomes very bossy in the practicing with Marco.
Yep.
Lee makes up with Rachel.
Declares his undying love for her via intercom. Again, why is this intercom so accessible?
I don't know why this intercom has to be, like, part of the plot this time. Like, last movie was just fine and we didn't have intercom situations. He said over intercom, text me a I don't know, smiley face emoji if you want to be back with me, or a poop emoji for if you don't. And then he said over intercom, there's no poop, which is just unfortunate.
This movie, I can't. Oh.
So well written. Such a gem. It's going to age very well.
So as we progress, Elle is becoming better friends with Marco. Lee and Rachel are sort of ditching Elle. And Noah is, like, ditching date night calls. He's, like, flaking on her, which I get because college is hard, but also he's being a bad boyfriend. Marco is making moves. He's very swoonable.
He gets Elle to really just chill out and stop being so high-strung, which is healthy for her because she's so tense. And he's like, why don't you just have fun? Mm-hmm. And I think that he really is good for Elle.
Yeah, well, and he's also, like, being her friend when both her best friend and her boyfriend are not present for her.
Right.
Right.
Oh, there's a Halloween dance thing, but really all that happens...
Yeah, that really doesn't matter. The only thing that matters
Elle
is the
starts
costume.
dancing with Marco. So there's a sweet little moment where they dance. And everyone's like, ooh, what's happening there?
Yeah, it really does.
There's also the costume situation.
Yes. So really, Lee doesn't tell Rachel about the fact that he's changing costumes so that he and Elle are wearing the same Halloween costumes. And
yeah, they were gonna do a trio of matching costumes, and they were gonna be like a s'more or something. And so Rachel was the marshmallow, and then they decided to go as Ghostbusters instead, but they didn't tell Rachel. So they show up as like cool Ghostbusters, and Rachel shows up in her marshmallow costume.
But honestly, the marshmallow works because the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man
I don't know what that means.
with Ghostbusters, it makes sense.
It makes sense, but it's not the most attractive costume.
Right. So anyways, that's another like conflict of interest with Rachel and Lee.
And Rachel yells at Elle because Lee had told Rachel that he talked to Elle about the whole back off, like Rachel needs to be a priority thing. So Rachel thinks that Lee talked to Elle about this. Elle was not talked to about this. And so Rachel yells at Elle, and rightfully so, I think, but also Lee needs to be yelled at as well.
Absolutely.
Lee decides to follow Rachel. He picks her over Elle, which is important in a relationship, but that leaves Elle all alone. And then somehow it's the DDM competition.
Life must go on. DDM competition is now. We've gotta bring the energy for it, you know?
The night before the DDM competition, Elle said that she wished that Noah was going to be there. And Noah's like, yeah, I wish I could be there too.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, we get to the DDM competition, and Noah is in the audience to surprise Elle.
Great fake out.
But Elle is in such an emotional state that she feels so close and connected to Marco during their dance that they share a kiss.
Boo! I'm just saying, as a professional, like, performer, you do not kiss someone out of passion in a performance. Like, if you have a scripted kiss, you do your scripted kiss. But if you are kissing because, like, you were so moved, you don't do that. You don't do that. You don't do that. You don't break. You don't do that. It's bad. It made me very mad. I was very upset. And you know who else was very upset? Noah. Noah was very upset and ran away.
Oh, he should have been upset. It was very passionate.
Their dance was lovely.
It was a Hallmark.
You know,
it was a Hallmark dance.
it was a Hallmark dance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Noah's angry because
Yes.
Elle kissed Marco. And then we
Yes.
have Thanksgiving, and it is the most uncomfortable Thanksgiving meal I have ever
Also,
watched.
guess who Noah brought to Thanksgiving?
Chloe.
Noah, the man with a girlfriend at home.
It's disrespectful.
Yeah, it's a bad.
It's
a
stupid
bad
and
move.
it doesn't make any sense.
It's a really bad move.
And that Thanksgiving meal everyone is like emotionally vomiting over everyone. Basically.
Yes, Rachel has a whole thing and leaves, and then Elle confronts Noah at the table about this whole earring situation, and then Elle leaves, and she says she's going to go fix something that's actually worth saving, which according to her is Lee and Rachel's relationship.
LOL.
So she goes to like apologize to Rachel and get her to like be back with Lee. Then we get our Molly Ringwald obligatory mom speech.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Which-
like, I heard a lot of you talking, but I didn't hear a lot of listening. And maybe you
guys
should
need-
listen.
You guys need to listen to each other. Like, it's really important to open your ears.
Thank God none of you are pregnant, because then we would have to start a freaking TV show.
And we've already done that.
Already
one.
done it.
We've already had that TV
Been
show.
down that road.
Secret
It
Life
went
of
on
the
for
American
far
Teenager.
too many seasons. We should review that show. No, we really should not. I do not want to watch that show
I don't
again. Like, I've already watched that
Garbage.
show. So then Lee wins Homecoming King. Nobody cares.
Mhm.
Then we have the kissing booth, year 2, and there's some Lee and Rachel reuniting going on. They kiss each other and they're like, oh, I recognize those lips because they're both blindfolded.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marco comes to kiss Elle, and Elle's like, you're great, but I don't think you're the one. And then she runs to catch Noah before his flight at the airport.
Yep.
But then she gets to the airport and it's just Chloe. Noah's not there.
He shows up at the kissing booth, and then doesn't she call him? And they're like,
Yeah.
okay, let's go to the gazebo. Noah needs to make sure that she doesn't love Marco, because if she loves Marco, then he can't be with her. But if it was just one kiss, then they are okay.
Which is, I mean, very good of him. I think. Everyone makes mistakes. Didn't
Everyone has those days.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Everybody gets that way. So they
Um,
kiss and make
yes.
up, and then it's graduation. And they're like, Elle, what college you going to? How do you not know what college you're going to by graduation?
Very terrifying.
yeah, really. I knew by like March. They ask Elle about UC Berkeley and Harvard, and she says she got waitlisted to both of them.
But plot twist, she did not. She just telling them
got
that she
into
did
both
because she
of
can't
them.
make a decision. Well, you better make a
Yes.
decision soon because school starts in a
You
couple
gotta go to
months.
school. And also, like, you have to like get them your deposit and sign up for orientation. Like, my orientation for undergrad was in May,
Mine was in June.
like late May.
Yeah.
Mine was
So
in
she
July.
gotta get
but
on
yeah,
that.
Yeah, I had made my decision by then. I think you have to pay your deposit for
Yeah.
You have to let the college know. You can't just
Yeah.
show up on day one.
No,
like, I got accepted.
Like August 31st or whatever. Like, hey, here I am. I'm ready to learn. No. Anyways, so she lies, and then we get a nice shot of Marco gazing at Elle because he loves her still.
Gazing at her longingly.
And that's it. That's the movie. And then we immediately get, spoilers for the third one. Well, not spoilers, but like teasers for the third one.
Ella's pregnant. Is it Marco's?
She's been she
Is
got
it
married at the
Lee's?
Hamptons.
Is it Noah's? We don't know.
Whoa. That's not it, but I would watch that.
I would watch it. Hardcore. I just gotta say, Marco was misused and abused in this film, and he is wonderful.
Yeah, poor Mark.
Yeah,
He's a wonderful gem, and I think he was positive, and I think that he deserved better than Elle anyways, but he did not deserve to be flung around just like piece of meat.
I loved Marco.
#justice for Marco. He deserved so much better.
He really did. He was so sweet and so kind to her, and she was like, yes, let me use this until I'm done with it, and then throw it away.
Mhm.
Poor
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
So how do we feel? How do we feel about this movie? Like,
it was so far-fetched. Like, almost
yeah, it's so impractical.
almost every
Right.
plot point was maybe poorly conceived by the writers. That being said, it was very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, it was a nice summer movie.
Yeah, it had a lot of high energy. I liked the fact that we were focused on the DDM competition instead of, whether or not we should be with Noah, this brooding, overly masculine figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, Noah didn't really seem to have much of a personality this movie, which might have been why I
It was
liked
really
it more.
boring. So how many kisses do we want to give this film? Let's go with you, Irene. How many
anyone-
kisses would you give it out of 5?
Oh,
1 being terrible, 5 being a makeout session.
I think I would give this probably a solid 2 kisses, because the actual enjoyability of the movie really boosted it from the 1 star of quality. Yeah. 2 whole kisses. 1 for Marco,
2 entire.
and then the other one for probably Marco again.
But this one, I think I gotta give it 2 kisses. Noah's hot. Also, Marco is hot. So I'm grateful for their presence. Noah's character was awful, but thank you for your presence in the movie. I don't think there are any other redeeming things about this movie. Everything's so bad and impractical, and the fact that there was just this miscellaneous DDM competition was so far-fetched and ridiculous. It's just I can't get on board.
Yeah.
That's where I stand. What about you, Jordan?
I would give it a 2.
Yeah,
Probably
2s across the boards.
2, and then I'll give it
Sports.
another half because Marco is really the only real reason I could continue on with this movie. But then by the end, when he gets mistreated, I'm pissed off. So
Poor Marco.
the characters just drive me insane. The plot points. No one went to college, apparently, whoever wrote this. That's not how it works. The drinking was super far-fetched, and people would lose their liquor licenses. So, anyways.
Yeah, really. Oh my gosh,
You know,
seriously.
It's not my favorite, but it's a film that you can watch on Netflix if you're bored. Well, I think that about sums it up for our kissing booth until the third one comes out.
I want to say it was a bright spot in my quarantine.
It was.
I was excited. I was excited that it was coming out.
I was too.
Excited to be able to watch it with my friends.
Yes. I think
and
the
it was
experience was
ridiculous.
good. I liked the experience of watching it. The actual movie itself was
Bad.
trash. But the
Yeah.
experience of watching it with friends and also the anticipation of like, oh, the second one's coming out was something to look forward to during this time of quarantine.
Yeah, it did. It brought joy.
Yes.
Thank you, Irene, for joining us today. Thank you, Jordan, for podcasting with me.
Of course. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Jordan and Rebecca Pod, or you can also email us at jordanandrebeccapod@gmail.com. Send us some recommendations to review, give us your comments, your questions, all that jazz.
We are anywhere you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Jordan and Rebecca review things.